Normally, when one thinks of a rabbi whose mouth seems to flow with an unending fountain of information, one would picture an older man with a long grey beard, but in this case, our subject is a comparatively younger man with a brain and vocal style of a high-powered supersonic train. In a world where ADHD is looked upon as a disadvantage, this man, if he has it at all, rolls it into his favour. You will have a hard time finding a more enthusiastic and knowledgeable teacher of Torah than Rabbi Yehoshua Zitron. Unlike my previous entries in this subject, the subject of our latest episode does not start out in life as being non-religious. As such, a formal testimony of any kind is not available in a lecture, though his public teachings often incorporate personal anecdotes and other life lessons to inspire his listeners. Rabbi Yehoshua Zitron is an Orthodox rabbi and educator, known for his lectures on Jewish foundational concepts and mitzvot. More specifically, his material is centered around Jewish thought, emunah, that is faith, and musar, which is ethics, Torah insights, and the practical application of Judaism in life. His work is available to view online, primarily on platforms like Torah Anytime and Spotify. He also has a presence on the most popular social media outlets such as Facebook and YouTube. He learned in Merer Yeshiva and Torah Or under Rabbi Chaim Pinchas Sheinberg. Rabbi Zitron has been teaching since 2010 with his focus on Keruv, which is Jewish outreach. Some of his other various topics include core Jewish concepts with Kabbalistic underpinnings, understanding stories in the Tanakh, that is the Hebrew Bible, Jewish perspective on dreams, using real-life examples along with psychological principles. He'll be discussing a topic and say something like, angels dislike coming to earth for long periods of time because they have to mikvah in Nahar Dinar, which is a lake of fire, 7 times on their return before resuming their daily song to Hashem, and he'll just keep going like nothing happened. He often incorporates impactful true life narratives into his lessons to illustrate a point, such as a story about 2 childhood friends and a kidney donation used to discuss forgiveness and divine providence. He focuses his understanding on the why behind Jewish practices and using evidence-based concepts to deepen Jewish understanding. His style is very enthusiastic and conversational, making each topic he addresses intriguing and engaging. In fact, I defy anyone who opens one of his teachings to not be locked in within the first few minutes of whatever he's saying. He is not afraid to draw on midrashic stories, which immediately captivate and ignite attention. This, coupled with him often making a statement that presents a surprising dilemma in a well-known and accepted concept, and then moves to unravel the conundrum, and by the end, not only resolves the first questionable statement, but goes deeper into the concept itself. Here is a short clip from one of his lectures, which I've entitled All In. This is a snapshot of how he teaches and shows this man's passion for Torah learning. Enjoy.
I made it. 64 years old. When people retire, all of a sudden he loses everything. How is it that he started? And then, he started again. Lag BaOmer was the day of happiness, is because he started again and he started teaching the other 5 students. Where now Torah is where we have it because of those 5 students. But how did he do it? And the reason is because he had a desire for Torah. He had a yearning for Torah. His Torah was not contingent on results. It was not transactional. Be like, oh God, okay, I'm going to learn, so you give me this, and I got the students, and now you took it away, so now I'm going to give up. It wasn't transactional. Rabbi Akiva had this desire to connect to Torah. God took it away, whatever it was that it's like, okay, the desire was still there. Meaning that's how you know the desire is real. When you're falling and you're breaking and you keep on getting back up again and you keep on going on the horse, and you keep on learning, and you keep on failing, and you keep on learning, and you keep on and the desire doesn't stop. That is the essence of Kabbalah Satara. Kabbalah Satara is that if you have that desire, if you have that yearning, if you have that fire, then you'll be able to do the Nasa v'Nishma, the desire that the Jewish people had during the Midbar. This is what Rabbi Akiva had. And we see this throughout Rabbi Akiva's life till the end. The Gemara Brachas tells us that Rabbi Akiva was being executed by the Romans. His flesh was torn with iron combs. He was being tortured to death. And what did he say? He said Kriya Shema, and Nishmasa Yatsa, his soul left him when he said Echad. And his students were like, really? Now this is what you're like even at this point? And Rabbi Akiva says, my whole life I wanted to serve God with all my soul. I wanted to connect it. I had this desire. Now I have the opportunity. You don't think I'm going to jump in it? Rabbi Akiva's whole essence Rabbi Akiva's whole essence was the desire to connect to God, to connect and learning Torah. The whole preparatory stage of between Pesach and Shavuos, it's Rabbi Akiva and his students, and we're mourning, and we're sitting over here and we're not listening to music, and you have all these signs over here because God is telling you, look at the lessons that the Rabbi Akiva taught. It's the desire. If you have that desire, you're never going to give up. You're never going to. How did he not? Because he had that desire. That's how he didn't give up. And he went all the way till his deathbed because that's what he represented. He represented the desire, the yearning for Torah. Specifically during this time period, his students did not represent that. They died. They didn't make it specifically during this time period, because the Baruch says, learn the lesson. The lesson is, if you have the desire, you have the yearning, you're sharing with everybody else. You're going to go and you're going to connect it to everybody else. The desire is just going to come overcome you. We see this with all the personalities. You look at Rus. We read Rus during Shavuos. Rus was not a Jewish, but she converted to Judaism. And Naomi, her mother-in-law, really was an ex-mother-in-law because her husband died. She's like, "What are you doing? Just go back to your hometown." And Rus responded. He says, I'm all in. Like, what do you mean? He says, Kol asher telchi elech ba'asher talini alin amich ami velakayach velakayach. Rus was telling her, like, whatever you're going to do, I'm doing. I am fully in. Like, there's nothing, wherever you die, I will die. Wherever you sleep, I will sleep. Rus was like, I am fully, she had that desire. The desire of Rus was, I'm all in. I'm all in, specifically on Shavuos. We're reading it and be like, you want to get the Torah? You have to be all in. How do you get to be all in? It's all based on the desire. You have the desire, the fire to connect, then you're going to be able to be all in. And we see this with David HaMelech as well. David HaMelech, every night at midnight, he put a harp above his bed so that when the wind would blow, it would wake him up. Why would he be woken up? Because he wanted to go and he wanted to learn. He wanted to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Your words of Torah is greater than all the gold and all the silver and everything. He says, all I want to do is connect. And that's why something very interesting. David HaMelech was born on Shavuos and he died on Shavuos. But the angel of death couldn't get to David HaMelech because he was learning nonstop. The Torah was protected. He had to go and create a commotion to go and distract David, and then he was able to take David's life. But we see over here, David HaMelech was all in. Rus was all in. Rabbi Akiva was all in. The Jewish people, Nasa and Ishma, were all in. This is the underlining lesson. You want to get Kabbalah Satara. You want to have a good judgment. It's all the foundational aspect of where you have to start off with. Have that desire. Have that desire to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Have that desire, and this is why Shavuos is considered a wedding. It's because you want to know what a wedding is. A wedding is not how many piece band you have. A wedding is not about how amazing the food was. A wedding is between a chassan and a kala, between a bride and a groom, and what matters the most is their desire to be there. If a bride or a groom do not want to be by the wedding that marriage is not lasting. But you're never going to go to a bride and be like, would you rather be anywhere else, like in a Paris honeymoon at this point in time, or be like, no, there's nowhere else where I'd rather be other than under the chuppah with my husband, under the chuppah with my wife. The desire is to be where you are right now. Shavuos is a wedding. A wedding is what it matters the most is the desire to be there. It's not about where you get married. It's not about how you get married. It's a fact that you got married. It's a fact of who you married. It's all about the desire. And this is what Nasa V'Nishma implements. And this is something that we remember ourselves every single day. Nasa V'Nishma. You want to be a good Jew. You want to be able to connect. You want to be able to accomplish. And the truth is, it's the secret to connect to the Torah, but really it's for anything in life. You want to be a good boss. You want to be a good employee. You want to be a good, sibling. You want to be a good parent. If you have the desire to be a good, that's the first step. That's the motivational aspect. It's a desire aspect of it. You might not be there. If you're not there yet, what you need to do is that you need to just go and start doing. Because what happens is that eventually we'll go and it will seep in. This is the lesson that we learn from Na'asa V'Nishma. This is the lesson that we learn from Rabbi Akiva. This is the lesson that we learn from Rus. This is the lesson that we learn from David Amal. This is the lesson that we learned from all of the 24,000 students that unfortunately, did not learn this lesson.
Rabbi Yehoshua Zitron gives 100% full throttle shiurim every time, and his lectures are extremely addictive. He is a top-class speaker, knowledgeable, likable, anecdotal, and passionate. If you want a speaker who is going to wake you up and keep you locked in, this is the rabbi for you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.